The time has come once again to send another player packing. It's IM40 Lions joined by a ZSX for this go-around, and it's going to be cha1n versus Spart1e. Dan, how do you feel about it?
I was almost certain you were going to say to send another caster through because no one can put up with your shit for more than 30 minutes.
I'm just running through all of you.
Yeah.
I have multiple partners today. Yeah, cha1n versus
What?
Spart1e. This one, again, don't worry about it, Dan. It is, again, for Tournament Life here. We're going to have Blood Covenant Vale, CK as the last map. If we get there, the last set between Sib and Buckster was the first game to go all three maps in the lower bracket. We may have another one. We'll see. Nyx versus Visor starting out on Blood Covenant. The classic matchup. Who do you favor in this one, Dan?
I think this, as you say, it's a classic matchup for a reason. They both have merits. They both have drawbacks. This is pure execution. Of what I've seen so far, I think cha1n has really been struggling in this environment for whatever reason. I spoke to him earlier in the week. He was confident, but I've not seen that confidence on stage, particularly in the mechanical department. You know, he's making mistakes, and that's causing his decision-making to suffer. So I'm a little bit trepidatious for what I've seen from cha1n. Spart1e played serious. He lost, but he was actually playing pretty well, and it was nice and balanced. It was a better Spart1e than what I experienced. And I think the one thing you haven't mentioned is that we're actually going to see one of these players leave the pro league. You know, this is a this is a match that we're going to see an icon of the QP level recently is not be in it anymore, and that's a pretty scary thing for the league. Really refreshing as well, but it means a lot to both these players.
Yeah, very, very true. I'm assuming, again, I don't have any verification on this, but I'm assuming top 16 qualified and will be cemented in the league. So this game does determine who could break through and who gets kicked out of the league completely, not just the tournament this weekend. So thank you for the clarification, Dan. I do hear the players in the server, so we are going to hop into Blood Covenant shortly for map number 1. This is for a lot on the line, not just tournament life, but Quake Pro League position life and placement. And we're live on map number 1. We're going to start off on cha1n on that Nyx.
Over on the Nyx, which is cha1n. Spart1e popping the piercing sight early, actually getting across to that Mega, stealing that away. That's a bit of a blunder from a cha1n perspective as Spart1e gets that upper spawn, the fortunate one, and works his way across to steal both major items. So not the ideal start for cha1n, but as a Nyx, it's not the end of the world as long as you have that high ground. But at the same time, he knows his opponent has a rail. You always have to be slightly wary. Another use of that piercing sight as well. Spart1e playing with the hourglasses perfectly. 2 within 35 seconds. Not a bad start for the Swede.
Not bad at all, and that may be not even because of the vision necessarily, but just keeping the Ghost Walk away from cha1n as much as possible. Controlling those vials, making sure that you don't have Ghost Walk on demand is going to be huge for Spart1e here on map number 1.
Yeah, but cha1n has begun to stabilize, so, it was a bad start, but that's absolutely fine. As a light champion, you really, don't want to risk too much to force your way onto major items. As long as you've got that starting base stack, you're absolutely happy because you can play the positional game better. By nature, you're going to be quicker, more agile, and so you want to be using that rather than your brute force into the major items. That's exactly what cha1n has done. Took him over a minute, but he has now got a major item to his name.
Maintaining high ground, as you mentioned before. cha1n hasn't really dropped down, save for grabbing an LG and then right back up to the top. Great rail as he backs up onto that heavy. Rocket jumps back up to try and maintain position in a mad dash for the Mega. Does have Ghost Walk if he wants to get a little aggressive with it, but Spart1e actually strafes out, and that's a free rail for cha1n. And now he can even press the issue a little bit before picking up the Mega. Nice delay between the items as well, so cha1n should use this to try and maybe get this first frag. The defensive rocket from Spart1e was perfect.
Yeah, Spart1e had the piercing sight up
tracks
as well, so just in time to hit that rocket, and a good use of it as well. We've seen a lot of uptime, and to your point, while cha1n isn't using the Ghost Walk at all, there you go, there's more free timing items for Spart1e. And another use of the piercing sight. The Ghost Walk, he's got the timing, it's going to be a perfect use. Huge rockets from Spart1e, who he himself had the piercing sight up, so a little bit of fortune for cha1n. You've got to like the thought process, but now he's in trouble. Cornered without a Ghost Walk. Can Spart1e finish his off? The answer is no. He does have the high ground for the next rotation, and cha1n would be a madman to push in for this heavy armor, so has to just forfeit it. Rinse and repeat, start again.
Yeah, just holding on to that natural stack, and the play on the Mega a little bit earlier was a little crazy, just the aggressive rocket jump into Ghost Walk, but somehow cha1n made it work. All in all, though, losing out on the heavy, does double back to the Mega and just barely missing out on the rail to Spart1e as he's trying to fly on through, trying to do some damage post-pickup. cha1n doing a very good job of evading all this damage, a little bit of splash from the Tri-Bolt, but needs to be careful here. Now he's eating a lot All that Tribald volley adding up. No armor, but he can double back to the armor shard. Light armor down at the pillars.
But he got another
Nice
pickup.
slow start.
Got the piercing sight up a huge rail, just nullifying all of those pickups. cha1n is really struggling at this point. He's got the Ghost Walk. Problem is, Spart1e can't track his opponent down. Just rotates, but now with the 15-second split between the major items, Spart1e can play his old school. Rotate the major items, get up onto that bridge. Try and bully his opponent, but cha1n's doing a good job so far of just keeping away, playing the distance game. Very low scoring. cha1n's done 200 damage in 3.5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, another rail again. It's
Defrag.
just absolutely debilitating, especially with the light champion. I mean, as Nyx, you take a rail and you just have to flee. Does back up onto the Mega, still looking for a little bit more armor. Upper light in possession here, looking okay. Ghost Walk, ready in case things go horribly wrong, Dan. But all in all, 4 minutes in, no matter how much damage Spart1e has put out, still can't claim the frag here. And this is great rails from cha1n. Should be able to finish with a shotgun, but the blast isn't enough.
It was close. Spart1e's fairly weak, not railable. cha1n has the Ghost Walk, once again refusing to use it for any aggressive situations, holding on to that. Spart1e pops again the piercing sight. Can't even count how many times he's used that in the first 5 minutes of this game. Doesn't connect with a rail. That would have been huge to equal up the stacks. But all things said and done, they are on opposite sides of the map. cha1n, though, will be the one to pick up these items now. Pretty much for the first time this game, 40, cha1n has a huge stack advantage.
And just like that, the rail to equalize
There,
Spart1e.
it's gone.
Yeah, and it's gone. Spart1e makes it look easy again. One of the detriments of playing light champions. You can get cut in half rather easily here. Good return rail from cha1n. Vision going to be back up for Spart1e as well.
There it goes again.
Popped. Yeah.
cha1n, I think cha1n might have heard that one. He's definitely not going to drop onto this. Just going to rain down some pain. There he goes. He knows it's over. He drops. He still gets railed. It is before the pickup, so definitely not the end of the world. Just a sign that Spart1e's saying, hey, I'm here, cha1n. Don't forget about that. And they just keep trading these items. No one can get a breakthrough. Not even close so far. Coming out here. Ghost Walk is now popped. Spart1e now knows he's got a little bit of time to force the issue. 3 seconds until this next piercing sight. Will he pop it straight away? He knows exactly where his opponent is, and there goes the piercing sight. Can he capitalize upon this? Heavy is taken, but now cha1n is in a vulnerable position without the Ghost Walk. There's going to be a frag here. cha1n sticking around. Doesn't matter if Spart1e gets railed again, which he doesn't. We finally have a frag. Nearly 6 minutes into this opening relegation match.
And I love the positioning from Spart1e on the Mega. Usually you come around the corner from Rockets and you think that someone's going to be literally standing on the Mega. Spart1e actually took the position near the power-up in the column, caught cha1n off guard, and that started the snowball of events that we saw at the heavy armor. So Spart1e up 1, and he's going to have vision back yet again before this next heavy. Needs to be careful. Almost dropped onto cha1n's LG. That would have tied it up, but the Ghost Walk did get popped off the back of that. So Spart1e again, advantage. Now he has the vision. He knows the Ghost Walk is gone as well. This should be easy. He just needs to find some more damage. He's going to drop, and he's going to body block into Rockets. Both players so weak. Spart1e needs to choose right.
He's on the item side of the map, though. No light up now. Come up in a second, but there's the Mega to recoup. He couldn't force his way across to this heavy, but cha1n's already there. And that was a brave double back from cha1n with the shotgun out, so he knew exactly what he was doing. Nearly worked out for the Canadian. We are now back into this stalemate as we saw before. Ghost Walk's back up, piercing sight is there. It needs to be used, which it won't just yet. But there's a Ghost Walk, there's the piercing sight. This is what we used to see from 2017, and splat! The timing from Spart1e is superb.
That was full of buckshot to the face. And yeah, as you mentioned, that is the classic. Wait for the Ghost Walk to be popped. About 2 seconds, and then you use that vision. And that is free frags for Spart1e here. Up 2.5 minutes remaining for cha1n to try and get back in on this, but he's been relegated to the low ground here. Spart1e doing a good job of controlling not only the upper ground, but also, again, the files to keep vision. Okay, nice move there from cha1n.
He had zero timing there, I'm assuming, because the item is nowhere near up. He's going back around towards it now. There's still a bit of time left. Once again, the piercing side is there, and this must be so frustrating for cha1n, because it's just crippling 40 just to keep being peppered with these rails when you have no stack anyway.
I actually really love the use of Tribal as well.
Tribal is broken.
Broken or not, the utilization hasn't been terrible from Spart1e. Only about 235 damage, but against a Nyx, I mean, that all adds up. The volleys from the Tribal can just absolutely rip you in half. cha1n.
Don't know if I like this though. We've seen this before from Spart1e where he just goes defensive too early. There's still a minute and a half left in this game. Don't want to give a license for cha1n to feel confident to press you. I loved what Spart1e was doing before with the piercing sight aggression on cooldown, playing the map. Definitely want to see more of that. He's decided enough is enough, and he's just going to play frustration keep away.
Oh, and cha1n chooses wrong, and that's going to cost him another 10 seconds and also 100 damage, maybe more here, as that may be it. Spart1e has the vision on lock. If he feels like he's being pressed, he can just press it. Easy escapes, and again, Tribal, cha1n down to 50 HP. Gets sent packing, almost gets the frag, and that surely would have been it. And I still think with a minute left that this is done and dusted. cha1n, it's going to take a miracle. He's going to have to try and hit everything here.
He is indeed. So far, he has shown us enough of that clinicalness, but just playing keep away. It's gonna work. Oh no, is it gonna work? That is the big question. The panic stations are on. He runs away. Hasn't got a piercing soul.
Spart1e's getting crazy.
No, he's run into his opponent with 30 seconds to go, and cha1n, he knows you can force the spawn. Spart1e will pick up a major item, and cha1n is pretty weak, but it doesn't matter. He has to get this frag, and he has to make it count with 20 seconds.
Oh my god.
Down one rail. He has to press it into the roof. No, Spart1e doubles back. 10 seconds now. cha1n find his opponent. Oh, he's gone a long way around and he's fallen down 40. That will be that. But oh my, Spart1e makes things more difficult than they need to be sometimes.
Jesus. If cha1n somehow came back to tie that, Spart1e would have punched a hole through his monitor 100%.
I would have punched a hole through Spart1e because why are you going so defensive so early? Like, you had the strategy, you had the map on lockdown. Doesn't matter. Like, he won, right? But he loves to give a little bit of a heart attack.
Yeah, absolutely. The mayonnaise man clutching it out 2-1, but he just makes it harder than it needs to be, like you said. Still, a dub's a dub, so he's one map away from advancing in the lower bracket. cha1n one map away from just being done and out of the Pro League. So again, a lot on the line here, not just the usual end of tournament life, but also end of Quake Pro League.
This is
map number 2.
This is as much now a mental game for cha1n than it is a normal game of Quake. He was feeling really good about himself, his chances. I know for a fact he's put in a lot of practice. He's even taken time off work over the last month and has felt really, really good. So to be in a position where you barely won a game, obviously took a series earlier on, but you're potentially going home and potentially going out. I think this is where it weighs heavy on the mind. And if he can overcome that and get this map under his belt, I would probably favor him to take the series. So it's critical he gets off to a good start in this map.
It's a rough call out, Dan. But yes, no, this is for all the marbles, so to speak. It's going to be on Vale. cha1n's going to have the Eisen, Spart1e with the Ranger. In terms of the champ picks, I mean, do you favor Eisen or Ranger more on Vale?
No.
I prefer the Dire Orb. I feel like the Dire Orb is fantastic.
Depends, yeah. I think it depends how effectively you position and use your turrets. They can be useless if you just throw them down without really thinking strategically about them. At the same time, yeah, the orb is always useful. It's pretty hard not to use it in a right way or a good way. Also, the passive is fantastic on this map in particular, particularly getting up from the heavy to pressure that mega. If you can get that split of items, use that passive, you become so efficient, so quick on the map. So Ranger is always good, no matter what the map is. Eisen is a favorite for many players on this map, particularly Avec, and he uses the turret in a really, really great way. But at the same time, as you say, the orb is there. So if you can use the Eisen well, then he's still really good. But I just think the Ranger offers a little bit of a rounded package, if you will.
Totally agree. And again, don't quote me, but I do believe top 16 in this tournament will keep their positions in Quake Pro League. Everyone else just gets cut, sent to wherever else you go. I don't know, the graveyard, I suppose, is where everyone goes. So big things here coming up on map number 2 for cha1n. All the pressure is on, back against the wall. He has to fight his way out. And even after that, for his efforts, he gets a map number 3 where it could all go horribly wrong. So a long road ahead for cha1n. Spart1e looking to advance through the lower bracket. We'll see. The first map was clinching, to say the least. Like you said, he just makes it a little bit harder than it needs to be.
Yeah, and cha1n was on the back foot the whole time. I do feel I would have loved to have seen more effort to go aggressive, more effort to be offensive, but it's also credit to Spart1e the way he was using the piercing sight, just putting a lot of pressure consistently on cha1n, and it was enough to keep him on that back foot.
Got my sip of coffee in, and we are live on map number 2 on Veil. Again, all the pressure on cha1n, so we are on his POV. He's got that eyes in. Timmy doing a little bit of work up top there. A little bit of information at the very least given to cha1n as Spart1e grabs that Mega. The split between the items is nice and juicy, giving Spart1e the opportunity to kind of dictate where he wants to go after the fact.
Now, we do know this is cha1n's best map by far. I wonder what actually Spart1e banned. I'm guessing Insomnia, right?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, Deep Embrace, interesting. This is definitely cha1n's best map by far, physically as well. And as I say that, he does come forcing his way in and a trade body on body down in the rocket. It is cha1n though that gets a slightly better spawn over by the Mega. Spart1e has to retreat. Has the rail though, that'll be the weapon to play around for now. And a weapon that cha1n is very proficient at as well, so wants to work his way across to that. But until then, he's quite happy just sweeping up all of the items.
Happened again, Timmy giving him just a little bit of information as cha1n is driving LG. Rally goes through the telly, big rocket, the Dire Orb actually clips the wall. Spart1e's gonna go down.
And your point there, Timmy doesn't always have to do damage. The information alone sets you up with the knowledge of how to approach an area of the map, which is invaluable. It just gives you that extra preparation for when you're going through that TP, and that's exactly what happened in that situation. And cha1n has doubled that lead now. It's a great back-to-back rail. He's caught Spart1e here. He's nothing to work with. Turret comes out. Actually, I think Pierce drops down. Spart1e follows away, but he's got nothing to work with. MG comes out, in fact. Trickle even just tickles cha1n a little bit. He's in position for a Mega that's just not going to spawn.
Gorgeous weapon switch. He did max damage here, but cha1n is just going to be able to go through the telly and claim this Mega yet again. With enough time to get back onto the heavy as well, because Spart1e doesn't really have weapons. He may be able to rail from down below. That's all he's really got.
Well, there he is.
Okay, Dire Orb, never mind.
Change?
I believe so. I don't know, because that was just insane, but what a Dire Orb play from Spart1e.
Big cha1n got that. Somehow standing on Spart1e's head. Fan service. What? But anyway, Spart1e comes firing through with the
Nothing
LG.
matters.
Timmy actually just blocks the last of it.
Is weak now. This should give Spart1e a little bit more breathing room as he's going to claim this heavy. cha1n cannot contest. Spart1e trying to make his way over to the Mega to get a full cycle of items. It's going to be way too early. Beautiful rocket jump. Spart1e not afraid to a little bit of Flamberina, as you said. Tri-bolt stuck and will escape.
cha1n's looking really good here. He's comfortable in his map. He understands the angle. He can play it with his eyes closed. And that's the position he wants to be in when his life in this tournament is on the line. At the moment, yeah, Spart1e's struggling. He steals away the Mega. Oh, sorry, the Heavy. But he just keeps retreating to the outer realms of the map where he's not in a position to pressure cha1n. He comes barreling on in, but it's a risky push once again. Joined by Timmy up on top, and it's not a situation you want to push on in through. He might do, but he's going to come flying in at the last second. Actually goes over the Mega. Spart1e's having a terrible time trying to steal these items. It's some great rockets, but once again, it's just a clunky fight.
Woo! Okay.
There you go.
Spart1e will take that. Heavy is denied, but Spart1e is happy to get his first frag on the board. No Dire Orb, but does have Rail, LG, and now Rockets. And now he has a big rocket, but the return not so bad. Does need to deal with Timmy there. 2 rockets will take him out. Spart1e looking for more here. 4 minutes in, down by 4. The potential for pushing off of that was large, but cha1n with the defensive rockets on a point. Around the corner, this could be big damage. There's the turret as well. Can he hit the air rocket? And they were just flying in the air, eyes locked.
Oh, this game is bullshit.
Oh, cannot confirm nor deny. Is cha1n very weak right now. Spart1e needs to try and open this up and find the frag. He just keeps letting cha1n live off scraps and then rebuild, and it's gonna come back to haunt him.
The thing is, I've actually really liked a lot of the decisions of Spart1e in these pushes. It's just been unfortunate and a cacophony of errors as to why he's come off second best. That last fight was just pure brilliant rockets from cha1n, but even still, I am enjoying the aggression from Spart1e, and he's using the Ranger as he would have said and we would have wanted. It's just not his map. Oh, he goes flying up again. He is playing more and more Clanarino, but this time he converts with one!
Watch out for Timmy, please, Spart1e. Oh, thank God. All right, he claims the Mega. Nice little light armor there. This should be able to help Spart1e stabilize. But yeah, cha1n's rockets were just absolutely aggressive. Spart1e with the air-to-air rocket there. 1 HP after the fact, but that's enough. Sometimes 1 HP is all you need to get back into it. Less than 5 minutes remaining. He's got to get 4 frags. Really relying on that passive to rocket jump around the map. Yeah. That one not really landing for him, but...
It didn't do anything, but I liked it. It was style points at the very least. He's got his timing back, though, after some earlier mishaps. He's got the rotation on. Big split between the major items. That's why we're seeing a big contest here. And now it's cha1n that decides enough is enough. I'm just not going to deal with your shenanigans anymore. And he retreats. In the vicinity, though, with a big rocket. Ooh, doesn't do anywhere near as much damage as it looks it would have done. He's early for the Mega once again. Spart1e does have the orbs. That's something to be more than aware of. And he heard the drop down of the turret. So that's an area of risk right now. But he's just going to orb straight on up. Steal it away because he has that timing. Really nice to play by Spart1e.
Yeah, really smart, really patient, not forcing the issue, knowing going through the telly is just bad news. Instead orbing up, but now he has to deal with this onslaught of defensive rockets trying to get this next heavy, and actually that's going to push cha1n away. So not bad at all from Spart1e, but he still needs more, still trailing by 4.
But what cha1n is doing is this type of defense, right? He's just setting up in the exit pathing of Spart1e and doing so much damage. He's saying, I don't even mind if you take this Mega because you have nothing else to work with. He's sitting pretty. Spart1e needs to be more careful on the exit of these major items.
Like the rocket jump up, positioning the dire orb a little bit too early. He's going to rocket jump up, but he's going to get floated.
Yeah.
It was a Hail Mary play, and then he got knighted the rocks buried with LG and Timmy turret, so that is just a bad place to be. 3 minutes. Potentially signaling the end of Spart1e's run in the Quake Pro League.
No, he got map 1.
Right. I was testing you. That's why this is so important for cha1n. I need another coffee, Dan! And he needs another rocket right now. As he's trying to hit it, needs to be careful.
His commentary as they now escape with no health each.
It still won't be as bad as your LG impression. My God.
Let it die, man. That doesn't deserve to live on.
Oh, absolute nightmare here.
Oh, the aggression once again, but no, the conversion rail, which wouldn't have converted, didn't hit. Spart1e has to go aggressive here. I think he's confusing cha1n with some of these rocket jumps as much as himself, and it's messy to the end, but he has to keep going forward.
Yeah, it feels like once cha1n got like the 2 frag lead, he essentially just played plus back, let Spart1e chase, and just do all this defensive damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Really nice position. And that was the difference between cha1n on this map and Spart1e on the previous. Spart1e just played some sort of RPG trying to run away, whereas cha1n actually took sensible defensive positions and punished the pickups. And there's a very big distinction between how to play defensive. So really well played by cha1n. I said this is a huge map for him in terms of the mental state that he was going to be in, and he came out swinging, so it was really good.
Not phased at all. 52% rail for cha1n, over 1,000 damage in comparison to Spart1e's 30% and 300 damage. Actually, across the board, the Unholy Trinity, 1,000 damage with the rail, 1,000 damage with the LG, 2,000 with the rockets, so cha1n on point across the major weapons here. But in the end, it's going to be settled on map number 3, the second time in the tournament we get to go full 3 maps in the lower bracket. It's going to be Corrupted Keep. cha1n is going to be rocking the BJ, and Spart1e is going to be on the DK, so pure damage abilities picked for the final map between these two.
Yeah, I haven't been too impressed with DK this event so far on LAN. It's been pretty underwhelming. Now, not to say it's a bad pick, or just maybe it's not been
certainly
well,
better.
but either way, it's not been performing as we've seen online recently.
Yeah, we just saw Sib versus Buckster, and he actually picked DK on Insomnia, which was the last map, and he got good mileage out of it, but he, essentially the way he played it was, I'm going to be up close and personal, shotgun flame strike, and I'm going to make you pay. Whether or not Spart1e takes the same kind of method with it, we will see. Corrupted Keep, obviously no rail on that map, so it does lend itself to a little bit more traps and mid-range fights. But either way, this is going to be career-ending for one of these players.
It will indeed. Two legends, should I say, of the QPL.
14-2,
awful
brutal.
Lot.
Yeah, yeah, and now I can say that Spart1e's tournament life is on the line in QPL Live. I was just a little bit preemptive. Right, my bad.
Yeah, correct.
It's because I'm out of coffee. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I don't have the baskets of candy bars like you have in the studio.
I mean, I think you ate Romania dry since there's none here.
I did. Since 2018, they still haven't recovered.
They've never recovered.
That's why I didn't get invited back. No, it should be a good one. I mean, I hope for both of these players' sake that everything is smooth and they could play their best game and we get, hopefully an overtime or something crazy. But yes, this is going to be the end of the line, not only for the tournament, but for QPL position for either cha1n or Spart1e. So it's sad to see somebody leave the tournament. It's even more sad to see them leave the league. But them's the breaks, Dan. Shit happens. What are you going to do?
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
I figured that's exactly how you wanted to say it. So.
That is it, verbatim. Oh,
yeah.
Man. I'm so glad I only have to cast once with you, 40.
I know. I'm just running through everybody, just exhausting everybody on the roster.
We've all admitted we can't take more than one game, so we have player tech issues. We're going to have to fill our favorite part of the day.
This is it. The podcast is kicking off right now.
That's why we're big bucks filling for tech issues.
Who has? Oh, it's Spart1e. He's like, I need more mayonnaise on my mouse pad. It's not slick enough. What? People need to be ready.
Now the hate mail is going to go towards Spart1e.
No, there's no hate mail. Everybody loves Spart1e. How could you hate Spart1e? Nobody can hate Spart1e. The power squat? Has he done that live yet?
What?
Has he done the power squat live for you yet? Like on a shirt?
He did it during his interview.
I love it.
And we did it during the broadcast.
He should. It was so good. I wish that anytime he'd enter a room, he'd just do that. That's how he says hi. Like,
some sort of Swedish sign language.
Yeah, might be. I don't know. All I know that hopefully before Grand Finals, you and Zanaku shirtless wrestling as a show match before we get to Grand Finals tomorrow. But I'll run it by production. I'll see. I don't know. It's up to you guys. But I think that would be really good content. Did you hit production's down?
Production's telling me yes, apparently. I'm glad I've been signed up for this.
There you go. See? I'm just content creation. It's all up here. It's all up here, Dan. There's not much else up here, but that's up there. All righty. We're getting things settled, chat. Don't worry. Glad to have all of you. If you want to pop over to the A stream, feel free. You should be having 2 windows open this entire tournament, but that's
just seen the viewership plummet as our insanity scales.
Like 40's face? No, down.
This backdrop,
do I give the update on the
is really putting me off. I keep thinking, because there's loud AC in here, I keep thinking it's being blown around.
Me too. I can't stop. It's a lot. For those that do want an update on the A stream, it looks like Razy's up a map on Avec, and they just started map number 2. But again, you should have 2 windows open because it's 2022, and what are you doing if you can't have multiple tabs? So we will be getting into map number 3 shortly between cha1n and Spart1e. It will be Corrupted Keep. cha1n, again, rocking the Blaskowitz, and Spart1e on the Death Knight. Dual wielder Flame Strike. Who's going to win out? Time will tell. I think the start of it's going to be very important. Usually we see the skirmishes happen at Rockets or LG, depending on who gets pinned where. Might see a fight break out early, and that could spiral out of control, especially if either player doesn't use their ability. Because then off the spawn, you could just use the Flame Strike, and it's so easy to manipulate spawns on Corrupted Keep. So maybe we'll even see a slower start because everyone knows what's on the line for this one. Again, not only tournament life, but Quake Pro League spot on the line between these two.
Yeah, I expect it to be slightly slower. At least that's the way cha1n will want to play it. I've already casted 2 CKs today, and they've both been utter shutouts. And you don't want to be in that situation, particularly in a knockout game. It's a higher risk to try and just really dominate the map. I expect players more happy to trade items and look for favorable fights than try and just force their way into control, because then if it slips out of your control, suddenly your opponent has that perfect strategy you've laid out for them. So slightly safer, slightly slower. And it's all going to come down to really, those initial rockets on the big engagements. But the most important thing on this particular map is just that long and mid-range fight. Who can hit the earlier damage with the HMD? Who gets that earlier spam? Because it's the marginal gains on match like this.
War of attrition, usually, more often than not, on Corrupted Keep. And the players are in. So, chat, this is going to be it, the final map between these two, cha1n versus Spart1e. Who will remain not only in the tournament, but in Quake Pro League? We will find out in about 10 short minutes, maybe a little bit more. But this is going to be it between these two. Big, big map coming in. And we are going to start right meow, live on cha1n. As he gets the Boneyard spawn, he's going to be able to grab the light armor and make his way back to the Mega. Is he going to get pinned at LG? And there's the fight right now from Spart1e.
Thought about it.
Yeah, he wanted
What about chasing? He knows he's got the flame strike, and as you said, close and personal, flame gun. I wish. Flame strike into shotgun. cha1n already popping the dual wheel, trying to defend the drop down. Spart1e's having none of it. He's just going to chill. Put out.
Ooh, he actually used the Flame Strike preemptively, so that's going to be down, and I think cha1n heard it, and he should use that to his advantage, knowing that he can get up close if he wanted to. A little bit of machine gun damage there, making his way finally onto the rockets. Dual wield as he gets knocked down. That's going to be pretty much wasted there. A little bit of rocket damage around the corner.
Oh,
not lucrative.
Great read with the shotgun.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and we said it was going to be cagey to start with. It kind of has been there. Like I said, they're happy to trade items. The Spart1e with the read there worked out perfectly.
Bit of a tickle there. Spart1e maintaining position. Heavy's going to be first, so he's going to grab that light armor and make his way hopefully towards the Heavy soon, but he's trying to track exactly which way cha1n's going. Flies around the corner with a little bit more of a tickle. The tri-bolt little lob not landing from Spart1e. Never mind, the second one landing in Spart1e's face from cha1n as he backs up onto the Heavy. When he comes in hot and heavy for the Mega, okay. That was a decision.
Dangerous from cha1n to go barreling through that door. Luckily, Spart1e didn't do anywhere near as much damage as he deserved to in that situation. Also burning the flame strike, but it's not the end of the world when he has those 3 time bars to fall back on as well. Just trying to bait out the dual wield and get the earlier chip damage. Spart1e's doing a good job. He's managing this mid and high ground much better than cha1n. He's taking some risky plays again, just jumping across the map when Spart1e is there. I mean, that play really shouldn't work, but fortunately for cha1n, it has. And he takes away both major items with a big delay.
Spart1e does have a Flame Strike waiting, just trying to wait for the right opportunity. We've seen it a couple times already and not, any major results. Good rocket there, that's going to knock cha1n down. There's the Flame Strike, making sure that corridor is punishable, but the LG, the dual wield, perfect range for that. Picks up the frag to tie it, now off the spawn. Spart1e needs to be careful, gets melted down. cha1n in the lead, Dan.
Yeah, that's the type of play that was a little bit desperate when your opponent is there, jumping onto the Heavy. Yes, he stole it, but cha1n just stuck around with the dual wield and melted him. That's the risk. Now he's stuck, he's got the shotgun, he's got the tri-bolt, but he's going to have to get away and forfeit the Heavy pretty much for free. Tickling in with the machine gun, but it's not a heavy machine gun. It doesn't really do too much whatsoever. Moxie's in position for this Mega. He really shouldn't be, as cha1n is already there with the dual wield and picking up more frags to add to that lead.
Body count is rising. Spart1e has to be careful. Again, Corrupted Keep is a map where you can easily manipulate the spawns, but you don't want it to get out of control early because cha1n's defense is pretty fantastic, as we've seen before.
Spart1e, though, does have the opportunity here to really push onto this next major item. cha1n is there, he's out of position, he won't do a Spart1e, he won't commit. He's trying to listen, get the timing, try and do any damage. Spart1e does neither. He's hanging around to try and press this light, but cha1n's not falling for it. He even got a glimpse of that light armor, the Mega as well. So he's now more than aware of the timing, which is still split by roughly 10, just in reverse.
Spart1e trying to drop down and surprise his opponent, but cha1n is ready for anything. Spart1e adding a little bit of a delay to this heavy, and by doing so might actually sync it up.
Yeah, he's going to miss out on the Mega now, so he's pushing in, but cha1n's there again. Big flame strike, he's been knocked over the Mega, but it's just not enough for Spart1e as the dual wield in this LAN environment will melt you with the LG.
And I think the issue may have been with the placement of the Flame Strike. If you wanted to try and go all in, he should have Flame Strike on the Mega itself to make sure that after the pickup he would burn. But a little bit of a misplay maybe mechanically from Spart1e there, but he's down by 3. Flame Strike will be back shortly. Does get back on the heavy, so not bad. It does have rockets and LG still, so not in a terrible position, but the Flame Strike is just not getting any mileage that Spart1e needs.
It's not, and a lot of these fights from Spart1e's perspective have been all or nothings. He's not, and he's also not really using the LG. He's barely touched it. It's all been charging in, trying to force these close range fights with the rockets. And cha1n's, you know, in 2 or 3 occasions, just standing back with the dual wield, saying, "All right, you want to stand there firing rockets at me? I'll just stand here with 2 LGs."
Double the fun. Oh my God! Double the fun again. Here's cha1n goes in. There's the Flame Strike.
What?
Okay. So the slight detriment to using dual wield, your hitbox does get bigger. He's got those broad shoulders. The chest opens up for Blazkowicz. Spart1e takes advantage of it. The Flame Strike to make sure the exit wasn't viable, so cha1n just had to stand there and fight. So well done to Spart1e. But it took so long to get that second frag, Dan, and he's only got 4 minutes remaining to get another 2.
It's definitely more than possible on this map. Particularly with the DK. Yes, he hasn't got any mileage out of the Flame Strike so far, but we do know if you connect with it, it can just obliterate your opponent and effectively give you a free frag or just turn a tide of a particular engagement. So it's always something to be aware of, but cha1n is just setting up now. He's more than aware of this aggression that's coming out from Spart1e, and ever since the earlier stages where he was himself being slightly too overzealous, he's been a lot more stable in his gameplay. Expecting with enough LG, but Spart1e's just so low.
He wanted that frag. He thought he was burning. He pushed it, and cha1n was just so ready for it. Calm and collected, even though he was on fire. Up 3 now. Spart1e still getting in on these items, but he's just not doing the damage he needs, and time is ticking, Dan.
It is 3 minutes to go, though. Lots of time, but Spart1e just seems to have lost his way a bit strategically. I did like in the early stages what he was doing. It wasn't executed particularly well, but at least he had a game plan, whereas now he just seems to be running from item to item, trying to take fight after fight. And that, unfortunately, the Spart1e fans, is playing into cha1n's hands right now. Another big rocket into another frag, and this is looking slim for Spart1e's chances, 40.
This could be very, very bad, Dan. August 19th, is it the day the party died? 5 frags, so he has to make up to equalize what? I'm talking.
It's here.
Oh no, Spart1e stuck behind LG now. cha1n, a merciful god, will just back up onto the heavy, maintaining item control instead, and also has time to grab this Mega as Spart1e grabs the light armor and has to double back. Doesn't have the Flame Strike yet either, and cha1n drops down and makes it look easy.
Yeah, this is unfortunately going to be Spart1e's last 2 minutes here in Romania. As cha1n has recouped from the map 1 loss, got himself back into this series and got himself into a lead that is insurmountable on map 3. And it all looked so good at the start of this map 40 for Spart1e. A few things didn't go his way, and the strategy began to slip. But cha1n swept up those mistakes and did not look back.
It's a sad day. It's a sad day, but that's all she wrote is cha1n just piling it on now. Is there any way you could do a post-game interview with Spart1e, like a cha1n behind the music?
I genuinely would be afraid to ask him that.
Yeah, he might get, I don't know, aggressive. But 11-0 is pretty aggressive here with still 1:15 remaining. Spart1e, in Spart1e fashion, protesting the situation.
Oh, Spart1e's QPL story had a worse ending than Game of Thrones as he puts himself into Midas and calls it a day.
Yeah, that is It's rough. 11 to -1 is going to be the official final score of the last map for Spart1e. RIP. It's been a pleasure. But I believe that is his exit from not only the tournament, but Quake Pro League. I can't wait for someone to clip that and then be like, you're wrong 2 weeks later. But for now, I feel like that's right. I feel like that's accurate, Dan.
Don't share your blame with me, but yes,
We're in
I'll
this
accept it.
together. We're a
from
team.
from my sources, the unofficial sources, that's probably going to be the party line. Oh, I don't want to do that. It's so cringe. It's so bad. Can we just end the stream, Usker? He's just winding me
All
up.
right, we'll do it later.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to leave you there.
Oh, I love it. So Spart1e, that is the end of his tournament run, and he's out of Quake Pro League as far as we know it. cha1n advances, fighting through the lower bracket. That's it for us at the B stream. We got more action coming up, a lot more matches, but we're going to take a quick break, hop on over to the A stream. I think they got some stuff going on. Keep 2 tabs open. We'll be back shortly.